Now, I don't understand why a lot of black artists continue to just go up to Vlad, right? So Vlad was upset because Boosie went live and he talked about why he wasn't going on Vlad no more. And he said that, he gave 6ix9ine that 50K and he wanted 40K, right? And Vlad said he went back and he did the numbers and he didn't think it was feasible to pay him this much because he wouldn't make any money, right? He can't give him $40,000, right? So then you see Boosie saying that he's going to do his own podcast. He's going to have his children ask him questions. But I don't know why y'all should have just been doing that from the door. You guys are the show, right? You're the culture. Why you got to have a W come over here and interview you for the culture that you guys are producing? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right? This guy's making all the money. And you guys, man, listen, it's just real goofy, right? So Vlad, he did an interview with 1090 Jake, another W, and he was upset with Boosie about Boosie going live and airing out everything, right? Check this out.
Originally, I wasn't paying him to do interviews, but over time, as the views kept going up and people were really gravitating towards these interviews, we started working out appearance fees. And the fees slowly went up, and over the last couple of years, the fee that we actually stuck at was around was $25,000 per interview. And that price was justified because Boosie was pulling in like 6 million views for every interview. And in that particular situation, and I showed Boosie all the numbers and all my back end numbers and so forth, when he was getting around 5.5 million views, I would make around $35,000 off that interview and he would make $25,000, right? So I had a $10,000 profit margin. He still made the majority of the money, but I was still making $10,000, so I was cool with that, right? And we were rocking like that for years. So some time had passed. It was, I don't know, about 6, 7, 8 months since our last interview. So I just hit him up one day, a couple of weeks ago, and we had a conversation. And this conversation was a private business conversation, but Boosie recently did a live where he revealed parts of this conversation. And in his live, he said that he had asked for $5,000 more, and I said no, which is why he's not going to do the interview.
I wanted $5,000 more than he wanted to pay me. He didn't want to pay me, so I think I'm gonna make more money doing it this way. And I'm editing my interview now.
Now, that's not exactly accurate. So, I wasn't going to put any of this out there, but because he started putting out numbers out there and people started going, oh, Vlad being cheap, why is it only $5,000? You could pay him that, not knowing the whole picture. So I'm going to lay out the whole picture for everyone just to explain what exactly is going on. So when I called Boosie, like I said, the fee had always been $25,000. He said, I want $40,000.
So now we found out that it was $25K, but just think about it, right? If he can pay you $25K, he making a lot of money, because this is the thing. If he's chopping them up into the small videos, then he might not be making a lot of money, especially ones where he's making 3-minute clips, 4-minute clips. He's not getting that much money. But if he's keeping them to like the long videos, the 20 minutes, the over 8 to 10 minutes, the 15 to 20 minute videos, he getting big bang. He might make 50 to 60,000 off those videos, right? So he can pay you, right? But the thing is, what I keep saying is, why y'all not doing this yourself? Y'all could have been doing this yourself. Oh, I get it. The problem is the way y'all show up for that W, man, the way y'all show up for that small hat, y'all don't show up for each other that way. Y'all don't show each other that same respect. So y'all show up and make him a millionaire and expect him to pay y'all. But when you get your own joint, y'all don't show up to each other, or you show up late. We don't give each other the same respect that we would give this W. That's the problem. But then you complain when he don't want to pay you. No, you Boosie. You Boosie. You should have had your own. There should be no Vlad. Vlad exists because you guys don't want to respect each other, right? But Vlad wasn't done.
And I'm like, fam, I can't do 40,000. That's just putting me in the hole in a situation like this. He's like, well, I'll go as low as 35. And I'm like, man, listen, I might be able to do 30 after I run the numbers, but 35 is definitely out of the question. But let me go ahead and run my numbers and actually see what's going on. So I went back and I looked through the last, 5 or 6 interviews, and I looked, and the profit margin on each of these interviews was around $10,000. So I showed him the numbers. I sent him a spreadsheet showing him my back end numbers. And I'm like, bro, the most I could do is 25. You're asking for 35. Your traffic has been dipping over the years. You've gone from about 6 million to about 5.5 to about 5 and some change. So you're looking at about maybe a 10, 15% decrease in views, which means a 10 to 15% decrease in revenue, as you know, but you're asking for a 40% increase in appearance fee, a 40% increase. It doesn't make any business sense, because what'll end up happening is, look, Boosie's already at home, right? He wakes up, he does the interview. There's no cost associated with him, and he was getting paid $25,000. I have to fly because I don't have a studio or a camera crew in Georgia, in Atlanta, so I have to hire a camera crew in Atlanta. I have to fly from LA to Atlanta. I have to get a hotel. I have to have all the costs associated with it. And then afterwards, I have to pay to get the video edited and pay my crew and everything else like that. And as you know, with YouTube, I'm taking all the risk because sometimes videos get demonetized, right? Especially when you talk about someone like a Boosie who has, he swears, he's talking about a lot of edgy stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm taking 100% of the risk. So I'm like, listen, I cannot pay you $35,000 when I'm going to make nothing, or maybe I'm even going to take a loss. And Boosie was like, yo, you're being cheap. And I said, I'm not being cheap.
So Sean Cotton was telling everybody basically what the skinny was on the situation. And we know that he gave 6ix9ine the $50K, right? But at that time, 6ix9ine was popping. When 6ix9ine did the interview, he got about 20 million views, right? So that's why it was feasible for him to pay him the $50K, right? But then they did other interviews after that, and he was saying that 6ix9ine was willing to work out a good number based off the views they got, so they both can win. Boosie wanted the flat number, right? So again, I go back to, you guys should be doing it yourself. You got black podcasts. How come we not blowing them up? How come we not just going to sit down and talk to our own people? Oh, I get it. Y'all don't like each other. Y'all rather go to sit down with these W's, right? Y'all rather have the Vlads and the Adam 22s and the other guy, the other dude, right? Y'all rather have all them in y'all business all the time. Y'all don't want to, y'all don't want to love on each other and build together, right? And make each other rich. It's too much hate, right? But then he explained the situation.
I'm being put in a situation where you make all the money and I make none of the money. It simply doesn't make any business sense.
Well, let me ask you, what was it that caused the price hike? Because I feel like it would be more understandable if he just beat a major case, or if something significant happened, and you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we see rappers go through crazy things and everybody wants that breaking story. What was it that you think caused this to come about?
I don't know. I know Sean Cotton, me and Sean actually had a conversation about this yesterday. He had put out a video where he said that he had heard from someone that Boosie was upset because I had mentioned that I paid Tekashi more than I'd ever paid anyone else. And that might be the reason. I've never actually asked Boosie to confirm this. But if that is true, you guys have to understand, Tekashi brought in like 20 million views. It was the biggest interview of 2025. It was the biggest meme of 2025. The whole I stole that shit. But that was a one-off. The other Tekashi interviews were not, that same price, right? Because they didn't get those same type of views. I've paid Boosie way more than I paid Tekashi. Way more.
And not only that, it doesn't seem like Tekashi is that consistent versus Boosie is more of a recurring guest.
Yeah.
And I hope that Boosie, I don't wish, whatever direction he chooses to go, but I hope he realizes the power and the dynamic that you two have. Because both of you mesh very well, and it's the presentation entirely that makes it what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think me and Boosie play off each other very well. So Boosie went on live. Like I said, I wasn't going to say any of this. This was just going to be a private conversation between me and Boosie. And if people ever asked, I'd be like, oh, well, me and Boosie just busy. And, at some point we might hook up or not. I mean, it is what it is. That's my man. But he decided to make a video. And in the video, he said, yeah, I'm going to do the interview myself. And I'm going to have my kids interview me. And I think I'll make more money this way. And I'm actually glad that Boosie is going that direction.
So he's saying that he's glad that Boosie's doing this so he can understand how the numbers work. A person like Boosie, you should have 3 million subscribers. You should have followers and people coming in to do interviews because you Boosie. What do you need Vlad for? You should be making 10 times more than Vlad because you're the culture. You should be bringing everybody in. You should be able to bring T.I. in and y'all sit down and have a conversation. Right? People, millions are tuning in for that. Like man, listen, you should bring in a gangster, right? And y'all sit down and have a conversation. Ain't both of y'all from Louisiana? Y'all sit down and have a conversation. Terrence Gangster Williams, gangster. Bring him in, right? That's millions of views. Millions of views. What you need Vlad for? Oh, y'all can't do that because y'all don't get along. Y'all rather go sit down with the W man. Right? Y'all don't want to sit down with each other and break bread and get money. Right? We all OGs. We all like 50. Y'all damn near, we all like 50 and over. Right? Y'all can't sit down like grown men and get this money. Right? You bring in Terrence Gangster Williams with the beef y'all had. You bring in a T.I. You bring in, you bring in guys and you sit down and have these type of conversations. Come on, man. What you need Vlad for? Man, this stuff is a joke, man. This stuff is a joke. Like, Vlad shouldn't even be in the game. But Vlad in the game because of us. It's our fault. It ain't the W man fault. This is our fault. He made all kinds of money out of the money that could have been in the culture. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. What's your opinion on this, man? If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.